Hello, today I'll show how I made this Lots of Dots challenge card using the Narwhal, and I don't know if I'm the only person who didn't know they were real, but when I found out they were, I just had to make this card. They are so cute. All of the supplies I used will be listed on my blog, but I wanted to mention the ball wreath, the concentric rings, and the I'm a Narwhal set by Poppystamps with the matching dies. I needed to cut a frame out of the ball wreath, and so I used a larger circle to cut around that, and then I created the background using that same circle. And then using the concentric rings, I cut several out. First, you'll see me cutting out the foam. That's going to give it some extra dimension, and I'm only using the same size as my background ring. And then I'm taking out a few rings to kind of fill in the gap of the center so that it has something to kind of sit up on as well. And there's so much dimension in this card. You'll see here that the double concentric rings that I'm using are actually sitting up above. And so to do that, I created that with 3 layers of the concentric circles. I don't use the entire die cut that this makes. I choose the 2 that match the size I need. And you also notice here that I'm backing it out once I run it through. That's just for a little extra cutting, and that really helps with this die. So here I am grabbing the 2 that I need, and then all the other ones, I've done that 3 times, will go into the little envelope with the die. And I always save all my extra die cuts this way, and not only does it save me paper in the long run, but it saves me time. And I don't know the name of this embossing folder. Really, any embossing would work up here. I just chose the little dotted clouds because this was for the dotted challenge, and so I thought that would be really cute, but I don't know the name of it. It was just in my stash, and really anything would be cute there. Next, I need to create the 5x5 square frame. I don't have any outer dies that create a frame that are 5x5. So you'll see me line it up with the 1/4 of an inch on my cutter. And what I love about this cutter is that you can close the little guard, and then without cutting, you can move the little orange square up to where you want it to be. There's a ruler on the top and side. So I'm lining it up with a 1/4 of an inch on the right side there. And then I press it down and pull it until I get to a 1/4 of an inch along the bottom there. And I'm not sure if you can see that there is a ruler there, but it's very easy to see. And I just turn it and then line it up again, and then make that cut all the way around so I wind up with a nice 1/4 inch frame on all 4 sides. And I think I must be on a layering kick right now because everything I do is at least 2 layers lately. So I did do 2 layers of this frame. And you know, like I keep saying, this card is all about dimensions. So you've got, you know, the empty space in the back, and then you've got the 2 layers of frames. You've got the 3 layers of circle frames. That's what makes this card so cool. And so anyway, I'm just really into layering right now. You wouldn't have to do all the layering that I'm doing. It would still look adorable. I mean, really, how could a narwhal not be adorable? I love these narwhals. They're so cute. I don't think I would want to see one in person, but on a stamp, they're adorable. Anyway, I put 3 layers of these rings, and you'll see me just kind of gluing them all together and stacking them up, lining them up. And then they go on the top of the ball wreath to make that frame. Now this ball wreath has frames layered on both sides. It's got the paper frames on the front, and then it's got the foam frame on the back. So you'll see me put the foam frame against the back. This is so that it sits up off of that blue circle to give it even some more dimension in there. And I love how it creates shadows as it's sitting up top of there. Now the center gives it just something to sit on. Otherwise, the center could touch the bottom of the blue paper while everything else around the edges are sitting up off of it. So that's all that does. And then I just glue the edge of the circle onto the back, and then see, you've got all that great dimension there. It's a lot like creating a shaker card in a way without the acetate window there. So I chose this paper to use, and I just needed to glue it on to the front of the card. And rather than measure it all out, I just laid it on there and then trimmed it. It was a 5x5 sheet there, and then I was just able to easily trim it. I wanted a little edge frame in between the two, the white and the blue, and so I just used the edge of this embossed piece and a dotted die cut to make a little frame. And I wanted that to be a little strip. I didn't want it to be overlapping because I had so much dimension going on already. I just wanted a little texture, and so that's what this provided. Now, see my finger on the left side there? I just, with my nail, just did a mark of where to cut that. I didn't measure the top out either. If anything, I usually leave things a little bit larger so I can trim them rather than wishing I had made them larger and not be able to do anything about it. So after I did trim it, I used the tape runner, but because I wanted that to have a real nice tight seal there, because they are separate pieces, I went ahead and glued that down along the edge. And then once everything was glued together, I just trimmed everything up and then laid the frame on the top. Next, it was time to create the narwhals, and I colored them with Copics and stamped them with the Memento ink. I stamped several just because I am by no means a Copic coloring expert. I didn't even show my coloring because it's just trial and error with me with Copics, but I love them and they're beautiful. So I glued the little ball wreath down, and then I put some little, I think these were Stampin' Up! Dimensionals that I put back behind the little narwhal, and then glued it all down, attached it to the base of the card, and then the card was done. And I just love this card. The We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board makes wonderful little 5x5 envelopes, and so that's what I'm planning to do for this card. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.